When a father sleeps with his son's wife, he not only shatters their marital bond, but also destroys the sacred trust that holds a family together. Bhadman married a beautiful woman his father had recommended to him, just 3 months after their first meeting. They have been married for 2 months, during which Bhadman has been overflowing with joy. At every opportunity, he declares his love for her and expresses how lucky he feels to have met her. Unknown to Bhadman, his wife is actually his father's secret mistress, and the old man orchestrated the entire wedding just to keep her within the family and maintain access to her body. A loud knock on the door interrupts their moment together. In confusion and curiosity, they glance at each other, both asking if either of them is expecting a visitor. Bhadman quickly sets down his glass of whiskey, then slowly walks toward the door to see who the unexpected visitor might be. He opens the door and instantly bows in respect at the sight of his father. His father arrived at the house without prior notice, pretending to visit his son, but truly intending to secretly meet with his mistress. Some visits are not made out of love, but out of lust hiding behind the mask of family. Bhadman gestures for his father to sit, then takes his own seat before gently guiding his wife to sit close beside him. His father clasps his hand, commending him for treating his wife so well. Bhadman smiles proudly, unaware that his father's praise is fueled not by pride in his son, but by pleasure at seeing his mistress thriving under his roof. In that moment, his father explains that he's been missing his son and daughter-in-law, so he decided to surprise them with an unannounced visit. Bhadman tells his wife to take his father's bag to the guest room and get it ready for him. He then politely asks his father to follow her so she can show him to his room. Unknowingly, Bhadman has placed his father in the very position he had secretly hoped for when deciding to visit them. Sometimes, innocence opens the very door that evil has been patiently waiting behind. Bhadman's wife leads his father into the guest room, and he immediately moves toward her, holding her tightly from behind, overcome by longing and desire. She gently tells him to stop, reminding him that her husband is in the sitting room and could easily discover their secrets if they continue. Lust forgets that walls have ears, and secrets never stay buried for long. Even with Bhadman in the house, his father insists on continuing their affair, saying he's gone 2 months without her touch and can't hold back any longer. He then reminds her that his son is busy enjoying a drink in the sitting room and won't come to check on them, since he trusts them completely and suspects nothing. Trust is the silence that often hides the loudest betrayals. That same night, Bhadman rests on the bed while his wife sits between his legs, acting as though the betrayal with his father hours earlier never happened. Out of respect for their marriage and household rules, he begins apologizing to his wife for his father's unplanned visit, pleading with her not to be upset, knowing it violated the boundaries of their marriage. His wife reassures him that she's fine with his father's surprise visit, and that he needn't worry about the house rules, insisting that his father should be free to visit even without notice. Bhadman feels relieved and satisfied with his wife's response, believing she is an understanding partner, unaware that her words stem from a place of betrayal against their marriage. Trusting in the warmth of a loved one's words can be a dangerous comfort, for sometimes the smiles that reassure us are masks hiding secrets that could shatter everything we hold dear. The next morning, Bhadman sits on the couch with his father, sharing a drink and happily recounting how blissful his marriage has been. His father puts on a mask of pride and joy, telling Bhadman how fortunate he is to have such a good wife, the very reason he claims to have chosen her for him. He also thanks Bhadman for welcoming him so warmly into the house, despite not giving any prior notice of his visit. Sometimes thanks are given not from sincerity, but as a veil to hide intentions no one should see. Bhadman informs his father that he has received an emergency call and must make an unplanned trip to resolve some urgent business matters. In that instant, his father puts on a show of disappointment, concealing the thrill he feels, knowing Bhadman's sudden trip will grant him extended moments with his secret mistress. His wife enters to greet him, and they both momentarily lose themselves in their own world of romance, forgetting entirely about the father's presence. The sight of Bhadman's wife instantly brings him joy, and his father begins to praise her warmly for taking such good care of his son. Bhadman then tells his wife that he was talking with his father about an urgent call he received, which will require him to make an emergency business trip. His wife instantly displays a disappointed expression, and Bhadman quickly comforts her, urging her not to feel troubled like his father over the trip. His father adds his voice, siding with his wife and insisting that it's unreasonable for Bhadman to leave the house while he is visiting. Bhadman urges his wife to understand that he cannot manage the situation from home, and sincerely asks her to take care of his father while he is away. Unknown to Bhadman, he is in the company of two secret lovers who are quietly rejoicing at the news of his trip, though they pretend to be upset to conceal their hidden relationship. The next morning, Bhadman gets ready for his trip and walks to the door with his wife, who pretends it's difficult to see him leave. She whispers to her husband that she will miss him greatly, while also reminding him to return within the 2 days he had promised. The sounds of their voice prompt his father to approach and join them at the door. He instantly puts on a display of anger, convincing his son that he is saddened by the trip and will genuinely miss him. Bhadman reminds his wife to take good care of his father while he's away, so that his father doesn't feel his absence too deeply. He then embraces his wife tightly and gently plants a kiss on her forehead before departing. Leaving two people of opposite sexes alone in a confined space can unintentionally create a trap for lust and hidden desires. With Bhadman away from the house, his wife boldly approaches his father and settles between his legs as they indulge in their illicit and forbidden desire. He happily tells her that they now have the entire house to themselves, with no need to hide their relationship for the time being. He immediately suggests that they make the most of their free time, noting that 2 days feels far too short for the romance he has in mind. The lady asks him to meet her in the shower, then leaves, leaving the father on edge, fully aware of what will follow once they are alone in the bathroom. Temptation often lingers in the moments before desire is fulfilled, making anticipation as powerful as the act itself. The father emerges from his room, ready to join his son's wife in the shower, right in his son's own house. He had become so consumed by lust for the lady that he no longer cared about the consequences of his actions, as long as his desires were being fulfilled. The lady opens the door, and they greet each other with radiant smiles, immediately melting into a heated, affectionate embrace. Just minutes into their shower, Bhadman hurriedly returns home, worrying written all over his face as he scrambles to find his phone. On his way to the airport, He realized he hadn't brought his phone, so he rushed back home to pick it up before continuing his journey. He's shocked to hear his wife laughing, while his father confesses his love to her, both voices coming from the bathroom. Unsure of what he is hearing, he slowly moves toward the bathroom to investigate, only to be thrown into shock when he discovers his father in the shower with his wife. His father and wife, believing Bhadman was not home, took their time expressing their love for each other and how much they had missed one another, unaware that Bhadman was standing at the door listening to their betrayal. This is a lesson to everyone. Parental influence isn't always benevolent. Even trusted family members can have selfish motives that harm others. Secrets within families can destroy bonds. Hidden affairs or ulterior motives can deeply harm relationships and family trust. What would you do if you found yourself in this situation? Would you confront them or quietly leave the house? Put your answer in the comments section. Let us know your opinion and where you're watching from.